What does it take to break a person's silence when the world demands they stay quiet? At Chicago O'Hare International Airport, under the harsh fluorescent lights, a woman stood alone, her suitcase at her side, her eyes fixed on the departure board. She was unremarkable to the casual observer's light frame, dark coat, a stillness that seemed to absorb the noise around her. But to Officer Daniel Hargrove, she was an inconvenience, a quiet defiance that grated against his fraying patience. It was late, the kind of late where the airport felt like a liminal space, half alive with weary travelers. Hargrove, a 10-year veteran of airport security, was already on edge. A delayed flight, a screaming toddler, and a malfunctioning radio had soured his shift. The woman, her name unknown to him, then stood near the security checkpoint, her hands clasped, her face unreadable. "Ma'am, move along," he barked, his voice cutting through the hum of the terminal. She didn't budge. Her silence wasn't defiance, not exactly, but it was enough to spark something in Hargrove. He stepped closer, repeating his command. Still, she stood, her eyes distant, as if she were somewhere else entirely. The slap came fast, a sharp crack that echoed in the stunned silence of the terminal. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The woman's head snapped to the side, her cheek reddening, but she didn't cry out. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she turned her gaze back to Hargrove, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made his stomach lurch. A bystander's phone captured it all, the slap, her stillness, his fleeting smirk. Within hours, the video was everywhere, a viral wildfire scorching Hargrove's name across the internet. The woman, identified only as Jane Doe in early reports, vanished into the crowd before anyone could stop her. Hargrove was suspended pending investigation, but he shrugged it off. He'd seen worse, done worse, and walked away. The internet would move on, he thought. But then came the twist-a-whisper in the newsroom, a leak from a federal source. Jane Doe wasn't just a quiet traveler. Her name was Dr. Elena Marquez, a renowned whistleblower who had exposed corruption in a major defense contractor years earlier. She'd been living under a protected identity, her life a carefully guarded secret, until Hargrove's hand shattered that shield. Elena hadn't been at the airport by chance. She was en route to testify in a closed-door federal hearing, her identity known only to a handful of officials. The slap wasn't just an assault. It was a breach of her carefully constructed anonymity. The bystander's video had inadvertently revealed her face to the world, putting her life in danger. Federal agents were already moving, piecing together the fallout. Hargrove, oblivious to the storm brewing, went home to his apartment, scrolling through angry comments online, dismissing them as noise. 72 hours later, everything changed. A knock at Hargrove's door brought not local police but federal agents, their badges glinting with authority he couldn't charm or bully. The charges were staggering: assault, violation of federal protection protocols, and reckless endangerment. Elena's identity, once a fortress, was now a weapon turned against him. The news broke wide open. Dr. Marquez, the woman who'd risked everything to expose truth, had been struck down in a moment of petty rage. The public's outrage was a tidal wave, but Elena herself remained silent, her whereabouts unknown. Enter Marcus Tate, a retired journalist who'd covered Elena's whistleblower case years ago. He emerged unexpectedly, a voice from the past, penning a viral op-ed that reframed the story. Tate revealed Elena's quiet courage, how she'd lived in the shadows to protect her family, how her silence at the airport wasn't weakness but survival. His words shifted the narrative, turning Elena from a victim into a symbol of resilience. The piece hit Hargrove like a second blow, exposing the depth of his mistake. He hadn't just slapped a woman, he'd struck a hero. As the case unfolded, Hargrove's life unraveled. His badge was gone, his reputation ashes. Yet the story wasn't about him. It was about Elena, who, even after the chaos, refused to speak publicly. Her silence wasn't surrender, it was power. She'd faced worse than a slap. She'd faced systems that tried to erase her. And still, she stood. In the end, the courtroom was quiet, the gavel's echo final. Hargrove faced years behind bars, a cautionary tale of unchecked power. Elena, wherever she was, carried on, her silence louder than any verdict. The world had seen her face, but her spirit remained untouchable, a reminder that some truths can't be struck down.